Hey, on Thursdays we've been talking about how I've been using my martial arts training to help me in recovering from my hip surgery. So last week I didn't get a video because I was at the doctor's appointment, and they relieved some of the restrictions that I had. So I thought this time I would just record a little bit of my workout and what I'm doing now and what martial arts system that I'm using to help me through this next phase. So right now you see me doing some basic physical therapy type warm ups, and those are there just to help me kind of gain my balance a little bit, work on those little small muscles, and nothing too crazy here. It's just it's amazing how hard it is just to be able to stand on one leg. Oh, by the way, I'm not moving this fast. I sped it up because this workout is about 26 minutes long, and nobody wants to sit through listening to me talk for 20 minutes or watching me just bounce up and down for 20 minutes. So, as you can see, I was starting a different thing, and I'm still having some problems. I'm still having some issues with my balance. And so I had to go over to the wall and do these next few exercises. But that's okay. It's about being going slow. If I go too fast and I push myself, I found that I take a setback. I go a couple of days where I'm really sore and achy. Didn't injure myself, but just sore and achy. So take the time and just do it the right way, and eventually I'll get there. So you see me doing these lateral raises, and I'm trying to do it with one hand or without any hands at all, but it's pretty difficult, and it's okay though. That's the next part. So now I'm just doing mini squats, and these are super simple. I mean, this isn't martial arts stuff. This is just physical therapy type things. So as you're watching me do these, I didn't have a lot of pain before I went into surgery. I'd get little bouts of things where I'd hit like really sharp acute pain, and then I would be okay. It was more about the mobility, and so the stuff that I'm doing now and the stuff I was able to get released to do is more about building mobility and flexibility. And so now I'm going to start doing some things that you may recognize. I had to run over and grab my cane because I knew that some of these things I was going to have a hard time with. So I'm going to start doing some things that you may recognize as yoga. But for me, I learned about yoga, or learned some of the yoga techniques, not through actually doing yoga, but through martial arts. And the martial arts that kind of drew me into this area was the Indonesian silat, and particularly the harimau type or system of silat, and that's lower to the ground, and harimau is tiger, and so it's the prowling idea of being nice and low. Being a big guy and not being super flexible from when I was a kid and on, this was more of a challenge for me. I really tried to do it, but I never was great at it, or I'm still not great at it. But I kept on trying, and as my hips got worse and worse from other things, it just became more and more difficult. But these motions that you're seeing, you'll look like child's pose, downward dog, or excuse me, cobra stretch, and then downward dog. I learned all these through Silat and not through yoga. So that's another thing that says, man, how connected are the martial arts? How do they work in and out of each other, and how do we borrow from those things to enhance our bodies and our expression of martial arts? So for me, I'm using these techniques or these movements to help me to be able to do the martial arts I want to do. I know this is going to get old. I even sped it up, but I'm going to be moving on to some positions that have been really hard for me to do in the past, and those are seated positions with my legs crossed, what we would consider what would we call sawa, and that's always been hard. It's hard on my hips, hard on my lower back, and so my hope is to just slowly move into these positions, and you'll see them here in a second. That will help open up my hips and give me more mobility to do the martial arts that I do, but also to just be more healthy and be able to do stuff outside of even the martial arts world. It's just good. So you see me kind of moving up here, and I'm sitting back. You can already see through those motions that I'm getting a little more comfortable sitting back. And here's this sawat position. Now notice how I am still leaning to the side there. My goal is to get vertical, just sit straight up and be able to sit into that, but that's going to take some time. But even right now, I'm noticing that I was able to sit a lot more straight up than I was, especially on that side, that I was before. Now I'm going to sit here and stretch out my hamstrings, and I'm going to move to the other side. Now this side, you can tell I'm kind of grimacing a little bit and I'm moving a little hard. That's because that rotation of my knee going out and my foot going in is very tight. I haven't been able to do this very well in years. And then also the other side, where I'm sitting on, is actually where the scar tissue is. So it's pretty uncomfortable. I'm don't stay there very long. You see I move right away, but I'm going to do it a couple of times and just get used to it. So I go back and stretch, and then I'm going back to sawa on the other side. I'm going to do this a few times, and I may just edit some of this out to make it shorter, so you don't have to watch all of it. But this to me is a position that I would like to be comfortable in and be able to move. You can already see as I switched, I'm a little bit more vertical on this side this time. So again, go back and anyway, as we're watching this, it's something that I really, really wanted to be able to do. These positions are things more of challenges, not that I'll find myself in these positions in quote unquote the real world, but I find them challenging and I find them useful and healthy for my body. And then also it's a mental challenge knowing that I can get there. It just takes work. And so it's not so much that, like I said, the reality based martial art, I'm kind of, I don't want to say I'm past that, but what everybody's real world, what they say in reality, is different. My reality is I get up, I help my kids off to school, I do some work on the computer, I go in and train, I teach, and I hang out with my family, and that's about it. I don't find myself in these kind of positions that I would need to use my martial arts. I use it for everything else. So now you're seeing here, I'm getting up and getting up on one knee. And I'm seeing, now notice how I'm trying to push out on that knee. Oh, it doesn't like that. And then notice how the thunk on there and me trying to get up. The hardest thing I'm finding is the balance on my operative leg. And right now that's the one that's down. So you'll see the motions and me trying to hold my balance. It's pretty tough. But anyway, these positions here, again, not that I'm going to fight from them or anything like that. It's about being able to do them and using and creating more mobility, which would just make me a better moving human being. So as I'm doing these, I'm going down and up, and I'm going to switch. Getting down and up is hard, but that's something I want to be able to do. I want to be able to get down and up without any problems. That's something for many years my hips and my lower back have prevented me from doing very smoothly. So you see me kind of work myself up again, balancing on that operative leg. That's the one that's down. Is just a bear, quite frankly. It's very difficult these days. But I can see it getting better, and you can actually, even watching this, I remember feeling like, man, every time I do it, I'm getting a little bit better. And so when you're thinking about, challenges and stuff, whoops, there I went over and things happen, and it's not so much about the result, it's the journey. It's getting there, because there's never really an end. I can always get more flexible, I can always get more mobile, I can always there's going to be a point. You see these people that are super flexible and super mobile and super athletic or whatever, there's always some new challenge, but it's going through the challenge that's important. So even with that little bobble and fall down, I still kind of caught myself and got back in position and kept going. And So as I record these, and I may try different ways, you'll see me struggle, and I kind of want you to see that. I want you to see that I'm not just showing you the easy stuff. Again, here, I've switched my sides, so I know that I'm nervous about it. So I use my cane to help balance, and that's okay. So standing up, I remember that being pretty tough, and the cane was almost mandatory there, and you notice how I'm bobbling again. But I couldn't even get to that point last week or 2 weeks ago. Probably 2 weeks ago. Last week I was kind of pushing a little bit, but you see me working here, and it's tough, man. Those are for some people they're very simple positions, very easy positions. For me, they were never simple, and never easy, but they're definitely much harder now as I'm recovering, and all that stuff is really tight. Now you can see I'm on my better side. I kind of popped up a little bit easier, and I'm going back down a little bit easier. And not saying it's awesome. You guys will probably do it better than I do, but it's still progress, and that's the important thing. So as I'm doing this, you'll see these positions we call sawa, and right now I'm kind of taking elements that I can do from what Peter Kwong, who is our CLOT kind of our CLOT instructor here through MKG, is some of the Lankas. So there's a ton of them, and they really will strengthen and help you be mobile and flexible if you can work through them. I think there are 14 or something like that. Again, I never got through them all because my body wouldn't allow me to. But I'm taking small elements of moving from one side to the other, getting up, getting down, rotating in place, and all these concepts that are really a big part of the Lanka sets that Peter teaches. And so I can only, right now, I'm doing as much of them as I can, and that's not a lot, but for me, it's exciting to be able to do them and then to be able to watch. Now you see at the end, I just kind of finished here, and you notice how I was sitting back a little bit further, and now I'm going to go back into child's pose, and you can kind of notice how even, at least I felt like it, how I am lower and more stretched out. So, and then this last one's pretty hard for me. I wasn't able to go past 90 degrees, so I'm pushing back up. So, anyway, I just wanted to share that with you guys, and I hope you guys have a great day, and I hope this helps you. And if not, you just spent 12 minutes of listening to me ramble. So, hope you have a great day. Take it easy.